Hey guys, it's Mike. Welcome back to the shop. So, this is a video I've wanted to do for quite a while. I don't have a ton of money, so I often spend my money very cautiously on tools. I like to get name brand, I like to get high quality tools, but I don't always have the money to do that. So, I oftentimes end up buying tools from offshore, market, brand, whatever, and just kind of take a gamble on it. Usually when I do these kinds of purchases, I purchase it through somebody that has a return policy, like Amazon or eBay, something like that. Where if I get it and it's complete garbage and just will not work, I don't have to deal with it. I can ship it back, get my money back, and move on to something else. But I figured this would be a good review to show you guys some of the stuff I've got that's been pretty decent, and some of the stuff that I've got that wasn't so decent, but I've kind of worked to make it better than it was. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll get right into it. Alright, for starters, I figured I would show you the Anytime Tools angle block set that I got. This covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 degree angle blocks. And the precision is plus or minus 20 seconds. Opening it up, I was pretty satisfied with the overall. I mean, the box is, just cheap plastic, but it's actually held up relatively well. The foam is decent. There's not a bunch of dirt and grinding dust and stuff like that in here. The grinding on the tools is pretty good. The corners are a little bit sharp, but it doesn't feel like there's an edge. Scratching my nail across it feels smooth. I've checked these just using my cross slide and compound rest to move the block once I have it trued up, with a dial indicator up against it, running on the the angled face, and move, a set distance and see what the offset is. And they've all been accurate to what I can tell doing that method. So these were a decent buy. They're nothing compared to the quality of like Stan's Rapid Z squares, which are absolutely phenomenal. If you've never seen his, go check him out. Barzy Industrial. He makes awesome speed squares. They're so quick for setting up different jobs, and I love them. I can't remember what job I needed these for, but I needed a set angle, and I didn't have it in Stan's set, so I bought this. This one was $39 from Amazon, and with Amazon Prime, you didn't pay any shipping or anything like that. So, according to the features and details, it says the precision is plus or minus 20 seconds, or 1/10,000th of an inch per inch. So, for me, perfect, decent quality, really happy. Next is something I decided not to send back, even though I probably should have. So, I got this set of adjustable parallels. And looking at them now, they don't look too bad. But I had to do quite a bit to get them to this point. I'll see if I still have the picture, and I'll post it up in the video here so you guys can see how much grinding dust I pulled out of these. I mean, they were horrible. These little slits here still had a full-length burr that was the width of this cut from when however they did this cut here. It left this long burr in there, and it was stuff sticking up over the edge. Every single corner had rough spots on it. The dovetail, even with the screw all the way out, you couldn't move it without knocking them apart. So I spent about an hour, and I went through and I meticulously cleaned and stoned all the burrs off of each one of these. And they're not great, but they're not horrible either once I did a little bit of work to them. So I got a set of these Mitutoyo digital micrometers. There's a piece of something in here. So, zeroed out. And what I'm going to check for is just parallelism, you know, what's the measurement here? And these I have not actually measured with anything precision like this. I think I checked them with my calipers and that was about it. Alright, let's get... So 0.6389 on that side. .6378 on this side. So they're not perfect. They're, you know, a little off with their parallelism, which I assumed they would be because of how sloppy the dovetail was. But, you know, this is a 2-inch length, and it's off a little over 1/1000. I'm not too worried about that for my use of these. I could, I'm sure, do a little bit of work and lap these true, but for what I needed them for, they worked out just fine. Just took a little bit of cleaning to get them there, which was frustrating, and I'll show you the pictures. It was absolutely appalling how horrible they were from the factory, but they were cheap, very, very cheap for a set of adjustable parallels. Let me see if I can find it here. I just had it pulled up. So these were also purchased from Amazon. They were $43. Was it worth $43? Probably not. I probably could have got a better set, and it would have been more worth it when you calculate in all the time and effort it took to clean these stupid things. But $40 for a set of adjustable parallels, you know, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I didn't get a whole lot. And these are Anytime tools. I just took the stupid sticker off the case because it was peeling and driving me crazy. So you get what you get. These really sucked for what they are, but I was able to clean them up. Next was the dial calipers. Now, I want to start off by saying that I did not expect these to be worth anything. I had an old set of dial calipers that I got from Harbor Freight years ago. I called them my scribing calipers because that's pretty much all I used them for. Didn't do much of anything else with them other than scribing, and one day they decided that they were just not going to work anymore. No matter what I did, no matter how I moved them, they kept jumping. So I was like, oh, I'll get another cheap set. So I went to Amazon and I looked around and found the cheapest set of dial calipers that I could get. I didn't want anything good quality because I was just going to use them for scribing. Didn't see any purpose to get anything of a better quality. So I found these. They were $29. $29. Super cheap. But I decided, you know what the hell? I'm just going to use them for scribing, so no big deal, right? Unlike the Harbor Freight calipers, these things feel awesome. And I mean it. They feel great. The jaws close up nice and tight. You can't see light through the back side of them. They zero up pretty well. Of course, they're not zeroed right now because I was messing with the dial before I started the video. But so, I mean, they're smooth. The edges are all nice and rounded on the parts where you're going to handle it. This is like cast aluminum or zinc, something like that. It's really light, but it's not plastic. The bezel cover and ring is plastic, but everything else seems fairly decent. The feel of them, I was amazed by. The finish, the grinding is all good. I took it apart to look at it on the inside, or I went to take it apart to look at it on the inside, and then I decided why mess with it. I can pull it apart and I can see the rack and pinion gears here, and everything seems good. And they go back to zero every single time, perfectly dead on. I was pretty impressed with that. So I decided, you know what, I am not going to use these for junk like I thought I was going to. And I bought an extra set, so now I have two of them. One for scribing if I need to use them, and one that I use in the shop for measuring. Alright, so I've got a gauge block here. 136 thousandths is what it says on it. That's what the Mitutoyo is showing up. Let's see. It's repeating to within a couple tenths. So 136 thousandths gauge block. Throw it in here, and you can see we're in between 135 and 136. That's not bad. For a set of dial calipers within a half a thousandth, I'm pretty happy with that. I can't complain at all. I thought this was an amazing buy. Like I said, I purchased two because they were so much higher in quality than the Harbor Freight stuff, yet they weren't that much more expensive. And I almost didn't get these because of the bad experience that I had with the adjustable parallels. But I figured, $30 delivered, even if they don't work that great, big deal. But I got them, and I actually really enjoy using these. I use them more than I use my really expensive Starretts that I got as a hand-me-down from my father when he retired. So these are kind of finicky now with zeroing out. Let me see if I can clean these off real quick. These were always pretty accurate. And see, these are reading 136.5 thousandths. Twist it a little bit, gives me exactly 136 though. But these are $200, $300 to replace. They're a 9-inch Starrett digital caliper, and they're decent quality. They're really, really reliable. Trust them. But at the same time, if I'm doing a bunch of measurements and dirty stuff, I don't want to get all that crap on my tools that cost hundreds of dollars. I want to get it on my tools that cost 30s of dollars. It's, to me, it doesn't make sense to buy another set of calipers that cost $100, $200, $300. I've already got a set that works really well for that. These are just a cheap pair of 6-inch dial calipers, and you see they work relatively well. I mean, we're getting, well, now it's reading dead on. I don't know if you guys can see it here. It's reading right dead on at 136 thousandths. Back to zero. Back to 136. I mean, they are decent. Really, really, I wouldn't even say decent. I would say these are great quality. I've held the cheaper quality tools that Starrett and Mitutoyo sells, and these are equivalent or better than some of theirs. And I'm not knocking Starrett, love Starrett, not knocking Mitutoyo, love Mitutoyo, but I can't afford to get a 1 to 6 inch set of digital micrometers. This is going to be the ones I use the most, So I saved up and I bought these because they were worth it to me. These are the ones I'm going to use all the time. I wanted an accurate 0 to 1 inch micrometer. I have one. Not that my old micrometers weren't good, and I have a 0 to 6 that I got that was Shars branded, and they're decent. They've served me quite well over the years that I've used them, but those were a gift. I might not have bought them otherwise. I'm very, very pleased with them, and I'm very pleased with some of these tools here. You know, like I said, it's not about how much you spend, it's about how well you can use them. To me, if I can get away with the $30 pair of dial calipers that last me a few years, I think that's money well spent. Even the adjustable parallels, I don't use them a lot. I don't need to use them a lot. So I don't really need to spend $150, $200 on a real high quality set. If I do need a real high quality set later on down the road, I can always do that, purchase it, and then I've got it if I need it, you know. But only being out $40 now means that extra $100 that it would have cost me to get a higher quality tool, I can use to get another set of these, or some more angle blocks, or a bunch of other tools, you know. It all, to me, comes down to feasibility. Is it worth it to spend the money when I can get this? Now, I'd love to only buy American tools. I would love to. But a lot of them are horrible quality now, and a lot of them are too expensive. So, you know, if I'm going to take a risk on a low quality tool, I'm going to take a risk on the lowest on the price scale and work my way up. You know, ordering through Amazon, ordering through eBay is a great option to me, because if these didn't work, I could ship them back. No questions asked. I want my money back. They give me my money back, and that's the end of it. So, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I wanted to keep this kind of short. I don't know how long this is going to be once I edit it all together, but I figured this would be a good video series to look at some cheap tools, see how what their quality is like, what they're worth, and you know, maybe I'll make this a reoccurring thing. I'll try to spend $30, $40 on a tool every month and do one El Cheapo tool review a month and kind of help people out, because I know I would have loved to find videos like this when I was looking for stuff like this. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you next time. Alright, so as you can see, some of those tools were well worth it. There's not so much. But what I wanted to do for this video was to show you guys an honest review of cheap tools. And I think I'm going to start doing this more frequently, once a month or so, probably, and show you guys, you know, what stuff to stay away from, what stuff I would say is worth it to buy a cheap tool. You know, it's all about what you need. For me, for my shop, I needed a cheap set of adjustable parallels. So I bought a cheap set of adjustable parallels. It took me an hour and a half of work to bring them into the point where I could use them. Is that worth it for the price? No, probably not. Would I do it again? Definitely not. But it did work. Because I cleaned them up, I decided to keep them instead of shipping them back. And because I put the time into them, to me that made them more valuable to me, because I'd done work on them. And I wouldn't want to ship something back better than what they gave me, because then the next person comes along and buys them and they think, hey, wow, this is a great set. So they buy another one and they're garbage. You know, I've had stuff like that happen to me where I got something that was reboxed. It was just horrible after getting one that was pre-opened and was great. You know, like I said, I buy cheap tools as much as I can. Or I buy cheap tools when I need them. I buy nice tools when I can. But the cheap stuff is usually what I get. You know, it's cheap, but it works just fine. And that's what really, really matters. Does this item work for what you need it to work for? If the answer is yes, then it's worth it. Is there anything to be ashamed about? No. I see videos of people talking about, you know, oh, this is a garbage tool, or this is a garbage tool, and sometimes they are garbage and they don't work right, and so that's what people are telling you. Other times, people bash stuff in their videos that is decent quality, in my opinion. Harbor Freight, for all of its horrible tools, they do have some stuff that is very worthwhile. A lot of their hand tools are higher quality than Craftsman brand tools are now. Craftsman's fallen a long way from what they used to be, even 20, 30 years ago. My drill press is a great example. If you go down to Harbor Freight, you will find the exact same drill press at Harbor Freight. The only difference is the motor. That's it. It's got the exact same pulleys, the exact same casting, the exact same parts. Everything's identical. The only difference is the motor. Had I known that before my wife got me the Craftsman drill press, probably would have just gone to Harbor Freight. I could replace the motor in 5 or 6 years if it goes out for still less than what the Craftsman cost. And then replacing the motor, I would get a higher quality than probably what's on the Craftsman now. So, in situations like that, I don't use the drill press a whole lot. Usually it's for quick popping, pop a couple quick holes in something and go. If I need a precision hole, I've got the milling machine. I've also got the Smithy 3-in-1, which functions as a drill press or a milling machine if I need it to. So I don't really need the drill press. It was just more of a convenience thing. Most of my tools are Craftsman, or my older tools, most of them are all Craftsman. This little lathe sitting behind me right now is an old Craftsman. It's phenomenal. But it was built in the 50s or 60s, back when Craftsman still cared about their name. Now they don't. Everything's made overseas. They don't care. To me, it's a company that's out there just to make money now. They don't care about quality. They don't care about workmanship. If they did, you wouldn't find the exact same castings at Harbor Freight that you find in the Sears store now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Please let me know how the microphone is working. I've purchased a new microphone because that's probably the biggest complaint that I've had on my videos is the audio quality sucks. So now that I have the microphone, if it's working well, I might start using my old camera again because I can zoom and focus and lock the focus, unlike the GoPro. And that camera had horrible audio quality, but with the new microphone, it might be worth it. So if you guys could let me know, I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.